Hey Libra, welcome to Eclipse season. Over the next 6 months, peace will shatter and mass will fall. You'll learn that real balance comes from choosing yourself without hesitation. Happy solar return, happy birthday, happy days, happy blessings, and happy ways for you, Libra. September Libras are something else, aren't they? Starting off the season, these are the ones that are most sociable and they really consider others before themselves. They are very sweet and charming at heart. And so let's get started, Libra. So, Libra, on September 1st, Saturn is going retrograde in your fifth house. Well, it's going retrograde at the 0 degree in Aries, but it's going to be retrograding back into your sixth house of Pisces. And this is going to bring focus to your daily routines, your work responsibilities, your health, your discipline, even. And over the next several months, you may need to really reassess your structure and efficiency when it comes to your daily tasks. There can be obligations, there can be like deadlines that you have to meet, commitments that could come up, and this could really demand you to have to reevaluate what's going on in your life and in your day. There can be something that is really persistent that has to do with health issues, and it's going to require for you to pay attention or adjust. You are being called to create this sustainable routine and habit, and you have to redefine what serves you, what people serve you as well. Because remember, Saturn is in your seventh house, so it will return back to your seventh house in next year in February 2026. However, this is restructuring your relationships, which you do on a day to day basis, and also your ties to other people. It's like enough putting people before yourself. As a Libra rising, this comes natural to you. You really consider the next person. You really admire and take unionship very seriously. However, you have to work on what is serving you and what is not. And these old responsibilities, these old relationship patterns, even that the along the lines where you're overworking yourself, these are going to come to the surface, and you have to really rebalance your energy and your effort. And this is the perfect time to really confront the limits and even these practical structures that can support long-term productivity and your well-being, and also can maintain a really, I wouldn't say a thoughtful relationship, but a relationship that actually serves you, friendships that actually serve you, and that are actually good for your well-being, Libra. So on September 2nd, Mercury is going to enter into Virgo in the 12th house, and Mercury moves through your 12th. This has you directing your mind towards introspection. You're really thinking about these hidden matters, these subconscious patterns, and this is a time or period where you can enhance your ability to reflect, to meditate, to analyze even your psychic abilities, or you're really thinking about past experiences for clarity, even for closure as well. And there are thoughts that may drift towards secrets, unfinished business, things like that may come to the surface. Or there can be dynamics of your inner world, and you're just reflecting on your outer experience, or you're reflecting on how is it truly affecting you or affecting your health. You can really think about um certain truths may uncover about yourself, about the situations that you've been in, or something that you've previously tried to hide from yourself or others. This is where you want to be more private. Maybe you want to study, you want to journal, you want to research, you just want to be more practical, so that you can be a little bit more productive at what you're doing with your time, Libra. And there can be communication that may come to the surface, but I think that this is communication chatter within your mind. It's more subtle, because communication, you want to be alone, and you want some quiet time to reflect and things of that nature. And because later on the month, you're going to be having a outward expression, right? We're going into your season. We're gonna have the sun in Libra at the end of the month, and this is a time where you are really being pushed to uh channel and think about your mental clarity, because this is going to emerge from like introspection, the way that you are expressing yourself, rather than this like external conversation that you're having with other people. Is going to be the conversation that you're having with yourself and your mind, that's more favorable when it comes to expressing yourself more authentically, Libra. I hope that made sense. So on September 6th, Uranus is going to go retrograde in Gemini in your natal ninth house. And this is going to highlight your long term goals. And, the ninth house really is about our higher self. It's about not even our long term goals, but our long term systems that take us to like different places or different experiences in life. Even our philosophical beliefs. Over the next couple of months, you could experience these sudden shift when it comes to insight. Really that challenges your world view. And there can be beliefs and knowledge that once felt really stable to you, but you are questioning it now. And this is prompting you for personal growth, reassessment over your life path. And you could travel, you can have these academic pursuits, and they may undergo some type of delay or some type of modification, because Uranus is in retrograde, and but this is pushing you to adapt. This is pushing you to actually experience life. We can be so much at life, let's do this, but this is really a time to consider how your personal philosophy aligns with your actions, and to really embrace these new ideas that resonate with your evolving truth and your evolving self and purpose. On September 7th, wow, Libra, this is a big one. This is a full moon lunar eclipse in the sign of Pisces in your sixth house. Go ahead and check out my video on the lunar eclipse in Pisces. I go much more in depth on what it means for your sign. Me and Divine Feminine Works, we teamed up and we made a really magical video, because Pisces is such a magical sign and happening in your sixth house of day-to-day activity. Let me explain briefly what this can bring for you, Libra. There's long-standing patterns of overwork, of unhealthy habits, of these emotional triggers, these karmic triggers even, and these are reaching a turning point. There can be shifts in your work environment, in your day-to-day routines, but this is prompting you to adjust yourself when it comes to your responsibilities. This is also a time to release these self-imposed pressures or unrealistic expectations in order for you to create a more balanced daily life. You have to recognize what is truly serving your productivity and your health and your mind and your body and your emotional body as well, Libra, because there are going to be changes that are initiated now, and this is paving the way for long-term improvement. So on September 13th, the sun is going to conjunct Mercury in Virgo and your 12th house. And the sun and Mercury conjuncting in your 12th, this brings forth a lot of reflection. The sun is really the soul, and Mercury is the mind. So these are subconscious patterns. Of course, these can be very private, because the 12th house is what we don't want people to see about us. It's really what is behind us. And then it is also the end, karma, past life. So you're thinking about you're going to be tuning in, but it's of course it's going to be in your mind, or even in your dreams or things of that nature. Anything that is behind the scenes happening that other people can't see yet, this is where it's going to show up for you. So you're thinking about uncovering these truths. You are resolving unresolved issues that you have with yourself, understanding these emotional or like subtle dynamics, and this can play a part this can be you planning behind the scenes, like introspecting work, or you could be like researching and things of that nature, that have to do with like future actions. You're just trying to gain clarity over your psychological and like spiritual patterns. So there's going to be a lot of thinking, and these are going to influence your like decisions. They are trying to enable you to release these limiting beliefs and prepare for these new beginnings that give you greater insight. So that is a lot of thinking for you, Libra. On September 18th, Mercury is going to enter into Libra, which is you. So it's going to be in your first house, right? and Mercury, it's going to enhance your communication. So this is why there's a lot of thinking that goes on, a lot of trying to eliminating it's limiting beliefs that you have about, what you're capable of, what you can do. And it going into the first house, this has to do with your communication style, your personal expression, the way that you present yourself. And so over the next couple of weeks, your thoughts, your words, your ideas, they're going to carry more influence, more weight. They're going to mean more because you actually thought about it. You're gaining clarity over your psychological and emotional mind. And this is a time that you're going to like really articulate these intentions when it comes to connecting with others, when it comes to really, assessing yourself with charm and, like this sweetness that you have to you. But this comes from your speech as well. Your mind is very active, and it's really focused on like this social orient, if that makes sense, like being sociable with other people and allowing you to like navigate relationships and people that you need to talk to. You're able to negotiate, you're able to have these social interactions with them with greater mind skill, with greater, even what is that word? Diplomacy. Libras are very diplomatic, and they're able to really bring people together by the mind, by, just unity. And that's where you're going to find that your skill has deepened with Mercury in your first house. And then you have, this urge, like it's going to feel very strong, like you're going to have a very strong urge to share your perspective with others and to make your presence known in your immediate environment. On September 19th, Venus is going to go into Virgo in your 12th house, and here Venus is highlighting your inner beauty, your inner harmony, your personal or private pleasures. This is spiritual connections in when Venus is in the 12th house. And Venus is your ruler, right? So relationships can feel very subtle. They can feel private. They can feel like you have to draw back a little bit. Maybe you have to think about what you find beautiful about yourself or what you find loving. This is an introspection towards love, compassion, and even creative solitude. This is a time where you are encouraged to evaluate your emotional attachments and foster this self-love in a quiet and meaningful way. And there can be hidden support that may appear in these unexpected forces. The 12th house has to do with our angels, our spirit guides. If you believe in that, has to do with God, our godlike forces. And with it being in Virgo, this is like an angelic force, coming to help you. And your intuition is really trying to regard others, like motives. So it's really thinking about becoming sharper and thinking about what people actually want from you. And this is a perfect time for you to get into like spiritual practices, meditation, creative expression. And this can help you when it comes to like soothing yourself, soothing your mind is very beneficial for you, Libra. And so on September 21st, we're going to have another big day, and 6 months after that, Libra. So this is the solar eclipse and new moon in Virgo in your 12th house. This is happening behind the scenes, but this is going to play out on a very, very large scale for you, Libra. Even if it's behind the scenes, this is where we want to do the actual work. So okay, this make sure you go watch the video that I made, me and Divine Feminine Works, on the solar eclipse, Libra, as well. So this is a profound new beginning, right? This is about self-reflection. This is about your subconscious work, your spiritual growth. And over the next 6 months, you're going to undergo this transformative inner shift. This is an internal shift. This is releasing old patterns, old baggage. This is preparing for a rebirth when it comes to personal and your spiritual life. This is a potent time for you to really start setting intentions around healing, around closing some chapters, even cultivating this inner clarity. You may find yourself letting go of fears, and these are hidden fears as well, Libra, and even this emotional baggage that you didn't even know that you had, but you're letting it go. Even even if you do know that you're letting it go. Even these outdated belief systems, and creating space, you are creating space for renewal, for alignment with your deeper purpose and your deeper understanding of life. So on don't forget to watch that video. On September 22nd, Mars is going to enter into Scorpio in your natal second house, and Mars in the second of your personal resources, income, finances, your self-worth. You can be driven to take action when it comes to monies, when it comes to your career, when it comes to your possessions and resources. You are asserting yourself in financial matters, and this can lead to like tangible results. You can feel really motivated to pursue opportunities that have to do with earning, that have to do with improving your material security. Decisions can be made around your income, your budgeting, your saving, and even like resource management can have these long lasting effects for you, Libra. On September 22nd, September 23rd, we know, hey, it's Libra season. Listen, right? Everyone just listen up. So when the sun is entering into Libra in your first house, this brings a boost in vitality and confidence. And this is a solar return, if this is your sun sign as well. But even through this, even when the sun is returning in the first house, this is a glow up for you. This is something that makes you focus on your personal growth, your sense of self, your expression. Your presence is more noticeable even when the sun is in the first house, and your intentions become clearer. This is a time for you to set personal goals that have to do with asserting your individuality, that have to do with cultivating relationships that support your personal vision. You're going to have a boost of energy. You're going to have this drive, this self-awareness, that's really heightened, and it's going to allow you to take leadership in your life with charm, with balance, with clarity, with truth, with justice, Libra. So yes, that's all I have for you, Libra. I hope that was helpful. Definitely like, comment, subscribe, please, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Bye, Libra.